Now having been almost 48 hours without sleep, the wretched seesaw slipped again in the early hours of Good Friday morning, 10th of April 1998. The Irish, still fretting a little over how the north-south part would be received, added a section to that strand, creating two new north-south bodies, thus indicating Ireland would act on a unified basis in the areas of trade protection and the Irish language. Now you might think cooperation on these two issues would be relatively uncontentious. In fact, the Unionists screeched to a halt. It turned out there was some obscure language called Ullans, a Scottish dialect spoken in some parts of Ulster, which was the Unionist equivalent of the Irish language. By this time, nothing surprised me. They could have suggested citing the Assembly on Mars, and I would have started to draft options. Everyone was now tired and fractious. I had an awful meeting with Bertie and David Trimble, in which Bertie did not take quite the same relaxed view of the importance of Ullans as I did, suggesting that maybe David would like to speak some of the fecking thing, to hear what it sounded like, and David taking umbrage at the idea that the dialect was a Unionist invention, explaining solemnly and at length the Scottish roots of Ullans with all the sensitivity of a landowner talking to the village idiot. The episode sent David Trimble's delegation down the helter-skelter, and fresh amendments started flying out. Alistair, meanwhile, had hinted to the media, who were now pretty fractious themselves, that we had an agreement, which in all good faith he thought we had. When I told him of the impasse, he expressed himself in terms, of which only Alistair was capable, to the effect that if I thought he was now going to tell the world's media that, contrary to what he had told them earlier, we had failed to secure an agreement after all, because of a Scottish Ulster dialect called Ullans, and so the war in Northern Ireland would go on, such an announcement on his part was more than a tad unlikely.